Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Well, happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go. My name's Hunter, and we're going to be talking about the long range weather forecast going through the month of November, at least the first half. We're going to be talking about your Halloween forecast for trick-or-treating as well throughout the day. So make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and sharing this weather forecast with as many people as possible. I do appreciate it. Let's get into the forecast here. And today, our temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler than normal across the central and eastern United States. These are where temperatures could be a handful of degrees below normal. We're talking 10, 20 degrees below normal for what we should see here on Halloween. And you're looking at the weekend now for November 1st on Saturday and November 2nd on Sunday. And we're still quite a bit below normal, especially in the central U.S. near the Ozarks. Could be around 15 degrees below normal, whereas the Pacific Northwest could be 20, 25 degrees above normal as we go into the first 2 days of November. Here are your temperatures for this afternoon on Halloween afternoon. It's going to be a chilly one, so with your costumes out there, you might need to actually pack a jacket because it's going to be pretty chilly up here into the Dakotas and Minnesota. High temperatures ticketed for the upper 30s to mid 40s range, so it's going to be pretty chilly further north. Further south you go, a little bit cooler down here into portions of Arkansas, mid 60s, probably a little bit cooler than you would expect. But then down here across Texas, Dallas, 70. We're at 71 in Lake Charles and 69 there in Gainesville, Florida as we go into the afternoon. Heading into the weekend, we're going to see a cool spell across the upper Midwest for the start of November on Saturday, November 1st tomorrow. We're going to be seeing mid and upper 40s up there into the Twin Cities region, Des Moines, Chicago, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and even Madison, Wisconsin, and then over here in toward Buffalo, New York. Going to be pretty chilly on Saturday. Sunday, we see a southerly wind component come back into the picture. That means our temperatures are going to catapult up into the 60s, low 70s across the Dakotas, especially South Dakota, into the Cornhusker state of Nebraska, and even record highs possible there into the lower elevation of eastern Colorado. Could be near 80 degrees once we go into Sunday on November 2nd. So definitely warming up in a big way. Our low temperatures here starting off the weekend will be quite chilly again, like we mentioned. If you're heading out to any breakfast plans for Saturday morning or any errands you may have to run, might need to pack a jacket again or a scarf even, because it's going to be pretty chilly here. Into the upper teens to mid 20s will be our low temperatures across the majority of the central northern plains into the eastern Rockies, and even some 30s over here into the upper Midwest. Once we go into Sunday morning, we're going to see those upper 20s, even some middle 20s start to appear across Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois, into Michigan, and then up across the Northeast, especially for Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York. Going to be pretty chilly there to start your day on Sunday. So any church services or again any errands you may have to run may need again to wear that jacket because it's going to be pretty chilly out there. Thunderstorm activity for today, not expected. Not really seeing any thunderstorm activity across the United States for today. Going into Saturday, tomorrow on November 1st, thunderstorms are possible across coastal Texas from Brownsville to Victoria, Corpus Christi, Houston Metroplex, and then along the coastal Louisiana coastline over there toward New Orleans. And then going into Sunday, November 2nd, looking at mainly South Florida, Naples, Fort Myers, Key West, all the way over there toward Miami and Dade County, Daytona Beach. Some of those areas could see a few thunderstorms as we go into Sunday. Looking at the eastern United States here on this Halloween, do have a little bit of some unsettled weather across the Northeast, and it's kind of cooler, so more of a raw day up there. May need to have a little bit of some gear ready for potentially trick-or-treating up here into Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York, and some of that gear could be more on the snowy side, right? We may have to get out the snow boots perhaps into upstate New York, especially if some of the snow does start to stick, even on grassy surfaces, so don't be surprised to see some snowfall up there this evening. Otherwise, cloud cover overspreading the Ohio Valley overnight tonight into your Saturday morning. We'll call it a mostly cloudy sky. Sprinkle or a light shower may actually start to fall out of those clouds as we start the day on Saturday. And then going through the day, we're going to see a lot of clouds across the eastern U.S., maybe a couple showers here and there, but no all-day washouts. So that's very important as we go to start the day on Saturday. Central United States, we got that kind of cooler, crisp fall weather across the northern United States here this afternoon, and you're going to see a lot of cloud cover increase across the Midwest. Some of that could give way again to some light sprinkles, drizzle, or light showers. Would not be surprised to see a few snowflakes mixed in, especially the further north you go into North Dakota, northern Minnesota going into this evening, and especially starting off the morning there on Saturday. Some of those snowflakes could come further south into northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, central Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan as we go into Saturday afternoon. That is the environment we're seeing. And then more sunshine here across the Southwest Plains, Amarillo, Lubbock up there into Dodge City, Kansas as we go into Saturday afternoon. We'll call it a mostly sunny sky there. Across the West, we do have to watch out for some rainfall for trick-or-treating near the Seattle area, especially into Washington State this evening. May have to get the ponchos ready for any trick-or-treating out there because it's going to be pretty rainy as we go into the evening. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies further to the south towards San Diego, Sacramento, and also Phoenix and Las Vegas, where we're going to be seeing quite a bit of clear weather as we go here into the day on Saturday. Rain will continue almost unimpeded all the way through at least early afternoon on Saturday. So Seattle going to start wet, will start to dry up a little bit into the afternoon, but it will still be a mostly cloudy sky with still a chance for some showers even heading into the afternoon and evening after that main swath of rain goes away. So rainfall amounts totals through 7 a.m. on Monday, November 3rd, heaviest across portions of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, and into southern Quebec, the Canadian province there, potentially upwards to 2 inches. A little bit wetter down here across the eastern seaboard at times as well, but it will be a little bit more few and far between. Drier in the central United States, and then the Pacific Northwest, we mentioned Seattle here in particular, 1 to 2 inches of rain between now and Monday morning. Snowfall, not really a concern across the United States. Upstate New York could see a potential dusting upwards to an inch, especially in grassy surfaces in upstate New York with that as we go through the evening. Otherwise, the heaviest snows will be in the higher elevations of Western Canada. So Yukon, Northwest British Columbia there, and the western coastline of British Columbia. And then, of course, Alaska. That's where we're going to be seeing some snowfall going through Monday in feet in the higher elevations. Let's look at the snow and ice cover. This is important at looking ahead as we go to the new month in November. And the blue is your snow cover. The orange is your ice cover. And notice it's gotten a lot more widespread here than we talked about a month ago. And so areas in Russia, over here into northwestern North America, including Alaska, a lot of Western Canada, seeing a lot of that snowfall starting to build, especially in the higher elevations, but we're starting to get that snowfall in the lower elevations at times, especially in Western Canada too, and that's important because if we look to the north with any cold intrusions, any cold fronts that come from Canada, could be cold this time of year, especially because of that snowpack, so keeping an eye on that. No cold fronts as we go into next week. In fact, we're going to see the opposite of that, a warming trend with a ridge building across the central United States between Monday, November 3rd and Friday, November 7th, and that is going to catapult our temperatures next week above normal. In fact, some areas could be 15, if not 20 degrees above normal there into the central plains as we go into next week. And we look at those temperatures, 60 degrees in Des Moines on Monday, 63 in Peoria and Springfield, Illinois Monday, and 58 over there toward Lincoln, Nebraska. And that's not it. We have the 70s returning as far north as Rapid City, South Dakota as we go into Tuesday, 64 in Des Moines and 59 in Chicago on the lakefront. And then we could be into the 60s in Chicago by midweek next week on Wednesday. And that'll just continue a mild week of weather to start November. While it will be mild during the day, we're still going to have some chilly weather at night. We could still see those 20s and 30s returning here during the morning. So you may need a jacket to head off to work or school next week. It looks like the warmest morning will be Wednesday morning on November 5th, where we could see 40s starting off the day across the Ohio Valley, Midwest, down there into the southern plains, could be in the 50s. So might be a milder start there by midweek before a cold front may come through later next week, knocking those low temperatures down a bit. Our precipitation next week looks pretty dry with that ridge building in, rising heights. That means a lot of sunshine, a lot of dry weather, and sinking air. So we're going to be seeing drier weather in the brown from the plains eastward here to the east coast. A little bit of wetter weather in the northeast. I think that will be pretty isolated. Any of the precipitation trending above normal will really be the west coast. So Washington State, Oregon, Northern California in particular is what we're looking at next week. You look at the European model, pretty wet here in in the West, we're talking about Washington State, Oregon, and Northern California. We look here at the GFS, and it's pretty much in similar agreement, although the GFS continues to advertise this rainfall and snowfall, perhaps even in the Sierras in California, being a little bit further south than the European model. So at least there's a little bit of some uncertainty here, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Going into the second week of November, November 8th through the 15th, we're going to see a trough on either side of the country, one in the Northeast, one in the Pacific Northwest, with that ridge continuing to remain stubborn across the middle of the country. What that will do is give our temperatures another boost as we go into the second week of November. So a mild start to November is in the cards here, and also a drier start to November across the central and eastern U.S. We will see some rain, won't be bone dry, but definitely a warmer start and a drier start further east, and a warmer start but wetter start further to the west across the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest in particular. Very active over there. Finally, let's touch on the tropics. Yes, we had Hurricane Melissa. There's the remnants now of Hurricane Melissa moving just past Bermuda and far away from North America, really falling apart here as that trough that came off the East Coast is now ingested Hurricane Melissa, or again, the remnants thereof. And looking at the long-range tropical outlook heading through the 18th, or around mid-month there of November, still watching the Western Caribbean near the Yucatan, but it's a fairly low chance that any tropical cyclones may develop during this point in time. The hurricane season in both the Pacific and the Atlantic basins are likely to quiet down as we climatologically see going into the middle of the month of November. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you all for watching. I hope everybody has a great Halloween out there. Stay safe. And also, again, if you are heading out trick-or-treating, you may need to pack a jacket, especially the further north you go. Going to be a little bit chilly, a little bit rainy in spots as well, so be keeping an eye on that. But again, stay safe out there. And thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I definitely appreciate that. Thanks for watching again, and have a wonderful and safe rest of your Friday out there.